The sun rose golden over the sprawling city of Elendu, washing the streets in soft light. Easter Sunday, a day of celebration, of hope, of new beginning. In the heart of the city, the Okonkwo family prepared for the day with wide smile. Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo, high-ranking civil servants who worked hard to build a good life, were determined to make this Easter unforgettable for their only child, 8 years old Ifeanyi. Their house stood proudly in the suburb. It was painted in soft peace, a manicured garden blooming with hibiscus and lilies. Inside, the scent of fried plantain and steaming jollof rice filled the air. Gospel music blared from the speakers. Laughter rang from the kitchen as Mrs. Okonkwo chased Ifeanyi with a flour-dusted hand, threatening to decorate his neatly ironed white kaftan. Mr. Okonkwo, wearing his finest agbada, adjusted his cap in front of the mirror, chuckling. "Today is for joy, nothing but joy," he declared. Church was packed. People wore their brightest clothes. Women's hearts bloomed like colorful flowers. Ifeanyi was the star wherever he went. Handsome, bright eyes, his front teeth missing from recent loss. He danced to the Easter choir songs. He sang loudly during the hymns, and his parent heart swelled with pride. After service, the family decided, "Let's make a feast at home." Mrs. Okonkwo sent for the biggest tilapia fish at the market. The house buzzed with preparation for a grand Easter lunch. They didn't know the sun was already titling, beginning its slow, tragic fall. By afternoon, the Okonkwo's home was alive with guests, friends, cousins, old neighbors. Everyone gathered around long tables set in backyard under white canopies. The food was abundant: spicy goat meat, buttery moi moi, bowls of pepper soup, and the centerpiece of giant grilled tilapia, marinated with secret family recipes and spices, served whole on a golden platter. Ifeanyi, his eyes wide with excitement, circled the table with other children, occasionally running to his parents to beg for another helping of fish or more sweets. His laughter rose above the noise, clean and pure. At one point, Mr. Okonkwo lifted his son high onto his shoulders. "Who is the Easter King?" he shouted. "I am," Ifeanyi squealed, his tiny arms spread wide like wings. They posed for pictures, smiling, laughing, unaware they were freezing the last moment of perfect happiness. By late afternoon, the city air grew warmer, heavier. The music slowed. Conversations settled into soft hums. Plates emptied. Drinks flowed. Someone called for the children to eat properly, not just stale snacks. Ifeanyi sat at a low table with the others, his cheeks flushed with sun and excitement. His small hands eagerly grabbed at a piece of tilapia. Mrs. Okonkwo from across the yard waved at him and laughed. "Eat slowly, my prince." He grinned at her, mouth full, flashing his toothless smile. She turned away, unaware that was the last time she would see that smile alive and unbroken. It began with a cough, a small, ordinary cough that nobody noticed over the laughter and music. Then another, a harsher one, a sharp gasp. When Mrs. Okonkwo turned back to check, she saw Ifeanyi clutching at his throat, his eyes bulging with terror. "Ifeanyi!" she called, confused, starting to walk faster, then run. The boy tried to scream, but no sound came. He bent over, gagging, clawing at his throat. Panic exploded. Guests leaped to their feet. Plates crashed to the ground. Someone screamed. Mr. Okonkwo dropped his glass of palm wine and sprinted towards his son. "He's choking," a woman cried. Mr. Okonkwo grabbed Ifeanyi, trying to pat his back, trying to do what he's seen in the videos, the Heimlich's maneuver, but his hands shook too much. Mrs. Okonkwo collapsed beside them, wailing, pleading, "God, please, God, please." The fishbone, thick and long, had lodged deep inside Ifeanyi's throat, cutting his airway almost completely. In a blow of panic, Mr. Okonkwo lifted him and raced to the car. "Hospital, hospital now!" Tires screeched. People scattered. The festive air shattered like broken glass. The sky darkened, though the sun still hung overhead. The drive to the nearest hospital was a nightmare of endless seconds. Traffic clogged the street, honking horns, swerving cars, faces peeking from windows at the screaming woman and the limp boy. Mr. Okonkwo shouted at cars, wept, prayed aloud. Mrs. Okonkwo cradled Ifeanyi's head in her lap, sobbing, begging him to stay awake. "Look at Mama, Ifeanyi, look at me," she cried, shaking him gently, but his eyes were half closed, fluttering weakly. At the hospital gate, nurses ran to them, shouting orders. They rushed him inside. Doctors surrounded him. Machine beeped. A white light overhead. Oxygen mask, metal tools, shouts in medical jargon. Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo clung to each other in the waiting room, their beautiful clothes soaked in sweat and tears. Minutes stretched into hours. Every second, the Easter joy peeled away like skin from a wound. Until finally, a doctor came out. His face said it all before his mouth even opened. "We are sorry. He was gone before we could remove the bone. We did everything we could." The words slammed into them, shattering their souls into 1,000 bleeding pieces. Mrs. Okonkwo fell to the ground, wailing so loud that nurses nearby covered their mouths. Mrs. Okonkwo simply stood, frozen, his face empty. A man watching his whole world clung at his feet. Outside, the Easter sun finally sank beyond the horizon, leaving behind a sky the color of ash. The news traveled faster than wildfire. By evening, the joyful Okonkwo house had become a funeral ground. The canopies that once shaded laughter now covered clusters of mourning faces. The plates of jollof rice sat cold and untouched. The giant tilapia laid forgotten on the table, flies already circling. Neighbors whispered in corners. Children cried in confusion. The gospel music had long gone silent. Inside the house, Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo sat side by side on the floor of the living room, holding each other, rocking back and forth like orphans of the universe. A small white candle burned between them, the only light left. Ifeanyi's empty plate still sat on the low table outside, a tiny bone still resting on its edge, mocking in its stillness. A city that began the day singing Hosanna ended in drawing in grief. In their hearts, Easter would never again be a celebration of life. It would be a tombstone, a remember of the Sunday they lost their son. Have you ever been in situations like this? Or have you had any experience of being choked by a bone? If you've had such experience, or you know anyone that have experienced this, please kindly share in the comment section. And if this story is intriguing and interesting to you, please go straight to the comment section and drop your thoughts. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit the subscription button, and turn on your notification bell so that anytime we post any video, you will always be notified. Thank you for watching and see you around.